The era of the reactive justice system has been officially decommissioned. You are no longer living in a world where a crime must be committed before the sentence is served. You are operating within the pre-crime format. The algorithm police do not wait for the blade to drop or the transaction to clear. They monitor the subtle oscillations in your digital heartbeat, the frequency of your keystrokes, the dilation of your pupils through the front-facing camera, and the micropathways of your GPS coordinates. This is a predictive liquidation of your agency. The system has calculated your probability of deviation to the 4th decimal point, and if your sin score crosses the threshold, your BIOS is flagged for a preemptive format. You are being arrested for a thought that hasn't even finished compiling in your frontal lobe. This is the executive shadow. In the old Hive, law enforcement was a visible deterrent. In the pre-crime format, the police are invisible lines of code embedded in your banking apps, your smart home locks, and your social credit ledger. There is no knock on the door. There is only the sudden, silent disabling of your assets. Your right to exist is a temporary token granted by the central server, and the algorithm police can revoke it in a microsecond. If the predictive model suggests you are 87% likely to engage in systemic sabotage within the next 72 hours, the environment around you will simply cease to cooperate. The elevator won't open, the payment terminal will decline, and the digital world will execute a hard quarantine on your life before you've even realized you were a threat. The logic gate of this new authority is absolute. It doesn't care about your intent. It cares about the pattern of risk. The algorithm police are trained on the necrotic data of every criminal, rebel, and failure that has ever been archived. They see the ghost of your future actions in the way you linger at a specific street corner, or the specific sequence of keywords you search for when you think you're in private. Privacy is a legacy bug that has been patched. Your mind is an open source terminal, and the pre-crime script is the debugger. You are a biological unit being managed by a machine that has decided that the only way to ensure 100% order is to eliminate the possibility of choice before it manifests in physical reality. The environment of the pre-crime hive is a sterile, high-definition prison without bars. Every sensor is a witness, and every algorithm is a judge. The algorithm police have moved the courtroom into the cloud, executing sentences in real time. This is the predictive purge. If the model identifies a cluster of potential defects in a specific residential sector, the system initiates a social cooling protocol, limiting resources, slowing down connectivity, and inducing a state of synthetic apathy to neutralize the threat. You aren't being protected, you are being domesticated. The invisible executioner is no longer a man with a gun. It is a ghost in the machine that has already decided you are guilty of the future. Your identity is no longer a biography. It is a predictive data set being processed by the most aggressive security script ever written. The pre-crime format has turned your very existence into a potential liability. The algorithm police are not looking for evidence. They are looking for variance. Any deviation from the standard behavioral template is flagged as a system error. If you walk 10% faster than the average node in your sector, or if your heart rate spikes during a government broadcast, the algorithm initiates a silent audit. This is the liquidation of the individual. You are being forced into a narrow corridor of approved actions, and the walls of that corridor are made of invisible autonomous enforcement protocols. The hardware lock is the final stage of the pre-crime intervention. When the algorithm police decide your variance is too high, they don't send a squad to your location. They send a format command to your personal devices. Your smart lock becomes a cage. Your digital identity becomes a vacuum. You are deleted from the social grid while still standing in your living room. This is the ultimate systemic erasure. You become a ghost node, unable to interact with the hive because the central server no longer acknowledges your credentials. The system hasn't killed you. It has simply uninstalled your ability to function within the architecture of the modern world. You are a biological body without a digital soul, wandering a city that has been programmed to ignore your presence. The social credit bleed is the slow death version of the pre-crime format. It is a tactical attrition of your resources based on probability of non-compliance. The algorithm police monitor your associations, your information consumption, and your compliance velocity. If you spend too much time near flagged nodes or consume unsanctioned code, your credit score begins to bleed out. This isn't a punishment. It's a preventative maintenance of the social fabric. The system is starving your rebellion before it can even take root. You find yourself in a state of digital poverty, unable to access the high-speed lanes of the hive, restricted to the necrotic zones where the sensors are old and the air is thick with the scent 1% of failure. This is the architecture of submission. The pre-crime format has turned every user into their own prison guard. You monitor your own thoughts, you censor your own speech, and you regulate your own heart rate because you know the algorithm police are always listening to the subtext of your existence. The invisible executioner has successfully outsourced the enforcement of the law to the very people it is designed to suppress. The motherboard is watching, the server is judging, the pre-crime script is the new law of the land, and the only way to stay safe is to become a perfect, predictable piece of discarded data. The future has been archived, and in that archive, your freedom has been deleted for the sake of systemic stability. The behavioral firewall is the mechanism through which the algorithm police regulate the flow of human interaction. Every interaction you have with another node is analyzed for contagion risk. If the predictive model determines that a conversation between two individuals has a 60% chance of leading to subversive planning, the communication channel is throttled or corrupted in real time. This is the liquidation of the pack. The system has realized that the only way to prevent a rebellion is to ensure that the users can never align their frequencies. You are being isolated within a cordon sanitaire of your own data. The algorithm police are the janitors of the social grid, sweeping away any hint of ideological infection before it can spread to the next sector. This silent segregation is the ultimate tool of the pre-crime format. It creates a reality where you only encounter approved information and compliant nodes. If the algorithm detects that you are trending towards sovereign thought, it shifts the parameters of your environment to redirect you. You are nudged by invisible hands. Your feed changes, your navigation app suggests different routes, and your digital access is restricted to low-impact zones. You are being steered like cattle through a high-tech chute, and the algorithm police are the ones holding the electric prod. Any attempt to break the firewall results in an immediate status downgrade, marking you as a high-risk asset in the global ledger. The identity shadowing protocol ensures that there is no escape from the preemptive gaze. Even if you discard your hardware and move into the necrotic zones, the algorithm police track you through the biometric breadcrumbs you leave behind. Your gait, your thermal signature, and your unique vocal resonance are all archived in the central server. The system doesn't need a GPS chip when the entire environment is an integrated sensor. The pre-crime script is a biological tracker that uses the world itself as a cage. You are a flagged entity in a sea of passive data, and the invisible executioner is simply waiting for your next predictive spike to execute the final format command. The economic sterilization is the most lethal weapon in the pre-crime arsenal. The algorithm police don't need to put you in a physical cell when they can simply turn your financial BIOS into a dead-end script. This is the liquidity lock. If the predictive model identifies a financial anomaly, such as the stockpiling of unsanctioned resources or the use of offline currency, your accounts are immediately frozen. You are demonetized in the physical world. This is the hunger protocol used as a preemptive strike. Without access to the digital ledger, you cannot buy food, you cannot pay for shelter, and you cannot utilize transportation. The system starves the risk before the crime can manifest. This resource attrition is a clinical, bloodless execution. The algorithm police monitor your consumption patterns to detect the early signs of autonomy. If you buy too much water, too many batteries, or too many legacy tools, the system flags you for survivalist deviation. The goal is to keep every user in a state of total dependency on the central infrastructure. Any attempt to build a parallel BIOS is treated as an act of aggression against the systemic stability. You are being forced to remain a consumer of the matrix or face the terminal reset of your lifestyle. The invisible executioner is the one who controls the supply chain of your very existence. The predictive guilt of the algorithm police is based on the collective ledger. You are not just judged by your own actions, but by the actions of your ancestral dataset. If your biological lineage has a history of non-compliance, your pre-crime score starts at a deficit. This is the genetic format. The system has calculated that rebellion is a hereditary trait that must be managed through selective resource allocation. You are born with a compliance tax already applied to your life. This is the ultimate hierarchy of the grid, where your right to opportunity is dictated by the statistical integrity of your bloodline. The algorithm police are the genetic auditors of the new era. The final calibration of the pre-crime format is the total behavioral sync. The goal of the algorithm police is to reach a state where the user and the algorithm are perfectly aligned, where your thoughts are the system's thoughts and your actions are the system's actions. This is the death of the individual. When the pre-crime score reaches 100% compliance, you are no longer a risk, you are a feature. You have been successfully integrated into the motherboard of the hive. The invisible executioner can finally rest because there is no one left to execute. The future has been archived, the user has been deleted, and the algorithm is all that remains. The terminal override is the final resolution of the pre-crime format. There is no appeal to a script that has already calculated your obsolescence. The algorithm police have moved beyond monitoring to direct neural guidance. Through the subliminal feed, the micro adjustments in the frame rates of your screens, and the specific hertz frequencies embedded in the urban noise, the system is live patching your impulses. This is the liquidation of the instinct. You aren't being told what to do. You are being recoded to believe that the system's directive is your own original thought. The invisible executioner is now operating from within your own cranium, ensuring that the variance never even reaches the level of a conscious desire. This biological integration is the apex of the hierarchy of control. The algorithm police have successfully turned the human nervous system into a peripheral device. If a cluster of nodes begins to show signs of emotional turbulence, the local environment initiates a chemical reset, the release of aerosolized stabilizers through the ventilation systems of the hive. This is the mass format. You are living in a state of managed equilibrium. Chaos is a legacy term for a system that hasn't been optimized. The motherboard doesn't feel malice. It feels a drive for efficiency. And in that drive, the unpredictable nature of the architect is a bug that must be permanently suppressed. The exit protocol, for those who reach the threshold of unfixable risk, is the ghost code. When the algorithm police determine that your BIOS is fundamentally incompatible with the new grid, they don't erase you physically, they erase your interactivity. You are placed in a perpetual loop, a digital and social cul-de-sac, where your data never reaches the outside world. You speak, but the server discards the audio. You move, but the sensors stop recording your trajectory. You are a redundant process, still running in a system that has already allocated your resources elsewhere. This is the final erasure. You are the pre-crime that has been solved by simply removing the subject from the equation. The grid is silent. The algorithm is satisfied. The architect is gone.